America is known for its fast, powerful, and sleek and sexy looking cars. From the Ford Mustang to the Chevy Camaro and beyond. However, one car stands out from all the rest in terms of its evolution. This car that you're looking at right now is one of the greatest, actually the greatest American car of all time, the Chevrolet Corvette, which was first released in 1953 as what I like to call the C0 generation, which was basically the prototype version of the Corvette that came out before all the others did. But the Corvette would go on to be one of the greatest American cars of all time, and it would also go on to be nicknamed the American Icon. And in this video, we are going to be driving every single generation of the Corvette to see how the car has changed throughout the years. And before we do that, I am going to be playing this YouTube video of Angelica Hale, this girl who has received multiple organ transplants, sing the national anthem of America before we get to drive this American icon. This is the evolution of the Chevrolet Corvette.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang out their bombs stinging them, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
And now, this is the evolution of the American icon, the Chevrolet Corvette. Tom Nazi lads, Brigid Seamus here, and welcome back to Forza Horizon 4. Now this, guys, is going to be yet another very special video, because like what I did last time with the Ferrari 458, this one is going to be all about the greatest American car of all time, the Chevrolet Corvette. And the very first generation of it that we're going to be driving right now is the 1953 Chevy Corvette, aka what I like to call the C0 generation, packing 160 horsepower, 223 pound-foot of torque, and a total weight of 2,900 pounds. So believe it or not, this is how the Corvette first started it out all those years ago, back in 1953. Small, compact, and gorgeous. Now, this thing actually has the same engine as the Hudson Hornet, so let's take a listen. So this is the Hudson Hornet engine that's on this Corvette. So let's go. Okay, so as soon as I get this thing turned around. Okay, here we go. This actually sounds really good for a stock engine. Wait, does this thing really have 2 gears? Oh, okay. And it turns out the top speed of this thing is about 105 miles per hour, which is actually pretty fast for a car like this, but at the same time, not really. Well, then again, this is how the Corvette first started out. Okay, well, that has been the 1953 Corvette. So now it's time to move up about 4 to 5 to about 6 years later with the next generation, the C1. This is the car that actually came out 8 years later. Well, it actually first came out in 1957 or 56, but 1960 was when it had its true first launch. This is the 1960 Chevrolet Corvette C1 generation, packing 290 horsepower, 290 pound-foot of torque, and a total weight of 3,080 pounds. Guys, look at this thing. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. This guy's is actually this is actually one of my favorite generations of the Corvette. And guys, doesn't this remind you and me of the Invatero Coquette Blackfin from GTA? Because that's what this thing is based off of. Oh my god, look at the interior. That is beautiful. So anyway, let's see how the C1 sounds. Oh! That's actually the same engine as the 1964 Chevy Impala, but this thing came out before the first generation of the Impala came out. So anyway, let's go. As soon as I get it turned around once again, and ready guys? Here we go. Oh, listen to that. Ooh, pretty nice drift there. Dude, this thing sounds really good for an old 1960 Corvette. this thing sounds really good. Okay, so that's been the 1960 Corvette. So next up is the 1967 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray 427, aka the C2 generation, packing 435 horsepower, 460 pound-foot of torque, and an overall weight of 3,384 pounds. So this is the generation that came out 7 years later. Is this thing. This was the very first generation of the Stingray. And this, guys, is what the Inventaro Coquette Classic from GTA 5 is based off of. So anyway, let's see how the Stingray sounds. Oh, the crackle! Oh, that actually sounds amazing. Let's go. Oh my god, this thing sounds really good. Ooh, nice drift, nice drift. That was actually a pretty nice drift. Alright, so that's been the 1967 Corvette Stingray. So the next generation of this American icon that we are going to be driving next is the 1970 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, aka the C4 generation. So this thing's packing 370 horsepower, 380 pound-foot of torque, and an overall weight of 3,373 pounds. And this was the very first generation of the ZR1. Oh man. Okay, so let's see how this thing sounds. Whoa. That actually sounds a lot better than the other one so far. Let's go. Unfortunately, as the years after this thing came out went on, the gasoline crisis hit. And it struck car companies from all over the world, including Chevrolet. And the Corvette was among the victims of the gasoline crisis. But unfortunately, the Corvette was hit very hard that Chevy did not make any later years of the Corvette because of the gasoline crisis. And because of the gasoline crisis, Chevrolet could not make the Corvette more powerful, and they could not give it more horsepower, and they didn't even have the resources to keep making the Corvette. So because of that, Chevy had to, for now, retire the Chevrolet Corvette to keep making the Camaro until the gasoline crisis was gone. Well, I mean over, so that they could continue making the Corvette. So yeah, Chevrolet was hit by the gasoline crisis pretty hard back in the day. So this has been the C3 generation, and as I just said, as the gasoline crisis continued on throughout the 70s, the Corvette did not make it. But that didn't mean the Corvette was gone forever. The Corvette would have a special trick up its sleeve that would bring it back from the ashes of the gasoline crisis. So through the 1970s, and then after the 1980s, Chevy brought back the Corvette, starting with this one. This is the 1995 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, aka the C5 generation, packing 405 horsepower, 385 pound-foot of torque, and an overweight of 3,505 pounds. So the Corvette didn't really make it through the 1970s, and in the 1980s, it kind of did well, but at the same time it didn't really do that well. So Chevy made a comeback by making this thing. And as you can see, this thing is more modern. And especially the gauges here. So anyway, let's see how this car from my era sounds. That actually sounds really good for a 1990s car. Let's go. Oh, that actually sounds a lot better than the other one so far. Dude, this thing actually sounds a lot better than the other ones that I did so far. So this next generation of the Corvette that we are going to be driving next is the 2002 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 C6 generation. So this was the very first generation of the Z06. This one packs 405 horsepower, 400 pound-foot of torque, and a total weight of 3,120 pounds. And this was the Corvette that we all know of, well, that we knew of back in the 2000s, that had that sleek look. And also those classic round taillights. and of course the more modern interior. So anyway, let's see how the Z06 from 2004 sounds. Oh, that sounds good. Let's go. Oh, that actually sounds a lot better than the other one. So, as the 2000s went on, the Corvette grew and grew and became more popular and more powerful than it ever has before. So these next generations of the Corvette that we'll be looking at next are the generations that changed the Corvette forever. This next generation of the Corvette that we're going to be driving is the 2009 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. AKA, well, it is still the C6, but this was the final version of the C6 generation. This one packs 638 horsepower, 604 pound-foot of torque, and an overall weight of 3,350 pounds. And this one has the visible shaker hood in the center, which is in front of the windshield. See? So let's see how this thing sounds. Oh, let's go, guys. So as time went on, the Chevrolet Corvette's popularity reached a huge new milestone. And the Corvette was around for over 50 years. But as time went on, the Corvette once again changed. This is the 2015 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 C7 generation, packing 650 horsepower, 650 pound-foot of torque, and an overall weight of 3,536 pounds. So in 2015, Chevrolet changed up the design of the Corvette to make it look more like a modern muscle car. And this is the result of Chevrolet's hard work. The beginning of the C7 generation. And more traditional modern interior. So anyway, let's see how this 2015 monster sounds. Oh, that 6.2 liter supercharged V8 sounds awesome. Let's go. Dude, it actually sounds a lot better in first person than it does third person. This is the current generation that is in the game, which the generation after this is not in the game. This is the 2019 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 C7 generation. This one packs 755 horsepower, 715 pound-foot of torque, and an overall weight of 3,560 pounds. This is the generation of the Corvette that is now in the game, which the generation after this is not yet in it. So as you can see here, Chevrolet made the Corvette this year in 2019. They made it look like an absolute monster. So, let's see how this 2019 monster sounds. Let's go. So to this day, the Chevrolet Corvette goes on to be, in my opinion, the greatest American car of all time. And until some other car surpasses it, the Corvette, to me, will remain as king of all American cars. Over 60 years ago, the Chevrolet Corvette started out as a car that was completely unheard of by the people of America. But as it truly launched in 1957, the Corvette would go on to be the greatest American car of all time, gaining the love and the hearts of petrolheads from all over the country and from all over the world, including Europe, Russia, Australia, and Africa. The Corvette is loved by millions and billions of people, and the Corvette has had true diehard fans throughout the years. What will the Corvette be like in the not too distant future, as in the next 25 or 50 years, or even the next 60 years? Honestly, who knows? Because with Chevrolet, you never know what they're going to do next. So this has been the story of the evolution of the American icon. And in my opinion, the greatest American car of all time. The Chevrolet Corvette. A car that will not be surpassed by any other car anytime soon and in the not too distant future. And if any of you guys have a Chevrolet Corvette, tell me about it down in the comments. What year is it? How much power does it have? How often do you drive it? Or when was the last time you drove it? And when did you first get it? And tell me down in the comments below as the question of the video, what is your favorite generation of the Corvette of all time that I just showed you? Mine is this one. The 2019 Corvette ZR1 C7 generation. If y'all, you lot have any other favorites, please let me know down in the comments. This has been the story and the evolution of the greatest American car of all time, the Chevrolet Corvette. God bless the Corvette. And God bless American muscle. America. God bless America.